All right, guys, this is part number 2. Now remember, at the very end of that last video, it's very important you understand that your meat suit, your human body, has a brain inside of it that houses your soul. We don't have the technology or the radar or the scans or how they look inside your body with a wand when a woman's pregnant. They can see all the little stuff, and they take different radioactivity to light up parts of your brain or parts of your body or something like that, and they can see what's happening inside you and the tissues, the blood vessels, everything, even your synapses in different ways. But there isn't a technology to be able to see where your emotions derive from. You have parts like love is over here. I don't know specifically. Love's over here. Joy lights up over here on the brain scan. Lights up joy. Lights up anger. Lights up jealousy. Lights up love. Those are the areas of the meat suit that are attached to the core processor of your brain, which is your soul, the one driving your body, the one making all the decisions, the one choosing between the devil and God. Okay? And that soul is an unseen thing from a different realm. We don't have the technology yet to be able to see it. When the Holy Bible says, and this is God talking, God is love. He's not a variant of love. He's not expressing love to say how he feels. No, he is the totality of the emotion of love, boxed in by himself. Christ is love. God is truth. Jesus says, I am the truth. I am truth. That's what he said. He's not saying that I'm speaking the truth, pardon me. He's not saying I'm just speaking the truth. I'm not relaying the truth so that you understand a certain situation. He said, I am the embodiment of the totality and the aspect of truth. God is love. God is joy. He is peace. Those emotions are implanted within your meat suit and aspects of different parts of your brain. Okay? And they have a connection back to the core processor of your soul, which is somewhere inside your head. Your soul is inside your head. Or in your brainstem. And we don't have the technology to be able to do it. So here, let me ask you this. You don't think that's real? You don't think God's real? You don't think that God can be love, the emotion of love? Tell me, is love real? Is anger real? Is joy, happiness real? Is jealousy real? You know it's real. Yet you cannot see it. You cannot measure it. You cannot weigh it. It doesn't have a mass or an index. It doesn't have a weight. Can't put it in a microscope and analyze it. You can't see, based on its atomic structure, who could have been the architect. The same way that you look at buildings in Italy in 1500s and be like, this was a certain architect that was happening at that time. Maybe it was Michelangelo that painted that painting based on the strokes of the painting, based on the different, the canvas. You can analyze it down and find out who the best candidate would be that was the creator of that thing. Now, we don't have the technology to be able to backtrack emotions to the human soul. Because if God is love, then we are made of emotions. This is all very important to relationships. You got to understand this stuff. Very important to understand this stuff. So, as our souls are comprised, which means made up of emotions, we are emotional beings. And the rawest, purest form of our emotions express out through our brain. There is nothing that you do, no matter how you're like, oh, I'm dead inside. And I'm dead inside sometimes too. But every single action, thought, everything, if you think about it and you search it hard enough, long enough, you will see that there was some form of some different type of emotion attached to it. Even truth. Truth is an emotion, which ties in indignancy. Being indignant. Feeling good. I know the truth. You know the feeling when you hear the truth. Feels good. Sometimes it hurts. It's always an emotion that's tied to anything, everything. That's because that's your expression, your outward expression of exuding, and your inward intake, all, both out and in, has an emotion tied to it. God is love, so that gives us evidence that we are comprised solely of emotions. So, as God imprinted himself on Eth Ha'adam, on the dust, and created Adam, Eth Ha'adam, he was only imprinted with good emotions, the basic human brain. So when the soul went into it, he was experiencing the perfection of emotions. Now here's the trick. That's given to every human. There was no human made before the fall of humankind into sin. The very first sin happened before Adam and Eve had a child. So the perfected state of Adam didn't carry on, his perfected state of bodily didn't carry on to the next generation. He was flawed when his wife, his woman Eve, got pregnant. I'm getting tore up by mosquitoes, bro. Sorry if I'm moving around itching. So, we got the suck your dollar version of the purest form of human emotions. Now, we've been dulled. Everything's been dulled. And you can see that. If you read the genealogies through the Holy Bible, you will see that over time, from Adam going forward till you get to the part of Jesus, the lifespans slowly decreased over time, to where Adam was like 1,000 years old when he died. But then you get to Abraham, he was only 180 when he died. And you continue going, the further you get away from the original blueprint, which was Adam, Adam, you'll see the genetic code starts dying out from God's original blueprint. And that's how of a human body. Because before Adam fell, I know everyone says this, Adam was never meant to live forever. I know even Billy Graham, my favorite pastor of all time, my favorite evangelist, even he gets it wrong. We were born to die. Even Adam, even Adam and Eve, they were born to make the choice. This was never meant to be an eternal place. Any pastor that says this could have been a perfect world if Adam never would have sinned, we could have lived here forever. This was never meant to be permanent. None of it was. So when they say there was a wonderful world we could have built with God, but we went our own way, and the first human, which we all derive from, the first human, Adam, he rebelled. He didn't really rebel. He just made the choice, and he chose wrong. That's what it was. It's not like some grand, God's the most terrible, oh my God, rebelled against, he was at war with God. What did he do? He didn't listen to his heavenly Father one time. How many times have you flipped out and even blasphemed the name of the Lord, took the name of the Lord in vain? How many times have you said, Jesus, girl, when you're angry? How many times have you hooked up with a girl you were never going to marry? How many times have you done drugs or drank alcohol? You are infinitely worse than Adam. So when everyone talks about how bad Adam was, dude, he walked with God. He walked with God. And he was sorrowful for what he did later on in his life. He made one mistake in his life. You've made billions. So have I. Absolutely, I'm guilty. Same as all of you. That's why we're all sinners that need Christ. But, okay, back to the timeline. So, Adam, this is all super important. I know it takes forever because, dude, this is 15 years of learning within an hour. You get it in an hour. You don't have to take 15 years of suffering, studying, wandering, praying, walking with God. I mean, it would have been good that you did that, because then you'd be permanently fixed. What I'm telling you is like the highlights of an amazing walk that just can't be undone. I'm probably one of the most educated people on the Holy Bible, probably on the planet Earth right now. So, then that's not a boast. All glory be to God, because, man, I shouldn't even exist. I'm telling you, so evil. I used to be so evil, dude. Super evil. God's fixing me. So, God blueprinted himself on the dust, made a living soul. And man became, you have to understand, don't get it twisted, man, which is our tangible suit, became a living soul. So this living soul went into Adam. You got it. Okay, great. Before Adam got tricked by Eve, who got tricked by Lucifer, he had the most perfect emotions, which derive back to his human soul, because our souls are comprised of emotions, as God is love, and we are from God. Our souls are. He was perfect. His body was perfect, and his emotions were perfect, but he still had to make the choice, okay, between obeying God and disobeying, sinning, and ending up in hell, being killed for it. So, before that, this is the very easy way to look at it, okay? I'm going to run it down real fast. Because we're all from Adam, who was blueprinted from God, and before sin came in, and before the destruction of the human body, he could have lived for 10 million years, who knows? But don't think that that's what God wanted. God didn't want them to die, and God didn't want them to be permanent. Death here, and as tragic as it is, and it sucks so bad. But if you actually read the Holy Bible, if you actually read it, it says, it doesn't say this verbatim, but this is the gist of it. You're doing everything backwards. That's what it says. It says, when somebody's born, you smile and you laugh and you dance, you're so excited. But really, you should cry. Really, you should cry. It says, when you laugh, you should cry. And when you cry, you should laugh. You can go look that up, where it says, somebody's born, instead of smiling, you should cry. Who would want to be born here? Listen, if you could possibly even fathom 1/1,000,000% of how amazing paradise, heaven, and where God is, compared to what this place is, you would cry, knowing that you had a son, and you could choose to put him through this hell that is this place of tangible existence, or he could stay safe and perfect and amazing with God forever. If you were outside of the box of existence and you could choose, you would never want your son or your children or your family or loved one or your wife or anybody to come here. They'd be like, okay, go live in the, Sahara Desert. No water, nothing. Starve to death. Or you can live at, Trump Towers and be a billionaire. Which one would you choose? You know what you're choosing, bro. Come on. That's what it is. And that's what he's talking about. Because this place is just, it's just a choosing ground. It's just a training ground for those who are to go to heaven. All right. This is your training ground for you to get ready to be a permanent citizen in the government, which is a kingdom of heaven. It's a real place. People are like, oh, kingdom of heaven. But they think it's so far off and so magical. They can't. No, it's a real, tangible planet. A new heaven and a new earth. A new planet with a new grand city of Jerusalem that has buildings and has streets. Are you thinking about it? It's not some far off thing. And you will be a participating, active citizen, the way you are in your own town, in your own house and everything right now. You will be a real citizen with a spiritual body, like a mirror image of your human body. Not a mirror image, but you get what I'm saying. You're going to have a body there, a real body. And you're going to have your own house called a mansion if you make it to heaven. And you're going to have a real citizenship where you're going to have a job and everything that you need to do, not like a common everyday 9 to 5 job, but it's going to be like something important that God wants you to do. And you're going to be able to eat food, and you're going to be able to see miraculous things and praise God and be with him all the time and hear music, and not the crazy music we got, but, heavenly music. That's a real place. Just the way this is a real place. It's super enhanced and extraordinarily better. Infinitely so. So, the first plate of a human body, because we were from Eth HaAdam, is the basic human emotions. Now, this is very important. This is the very first plate. The basic human emotions. Now, here's what happened. The split in time. That there's only 3 splits in time. When Adam made the fall of humankind, when Christ died and resurrected, that's the second part. And, when he was born, his whole life, pretty much. It was the crux of, the hinge of human history. And the last one is the end. The end of tangible existence, our meat suits, everything exists. The end of all matter and antimatter. Everything that exists, this universe is gone. And then eternity starts. That's the third one. And then that's the end of it. It goes on forever, okay? There are no more hinges after that. But the first hinge was Adam. And this was so paramount because of this. Your body, your emotions, and everything that God imprinted himself onto the dust were all pure and good. They were all the good emotions that you had. It was love, joy, peace, tranquility, self-sacrifice. There's good sets of things. Like there's good anger and there's good jealousy. God has good jealousy. God has good anger, which is called indignation. But not, it says, be angry and sin not, which means having indignation, righteous anger, okay? But it's not fiery righteous anger. It's just you're angry and against abominations or, sinful things. So he imprinted Eth HaAdam with only good emotions because God is only good. But then he said, I forbid you to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So all the bad emotions that you have, the bad jealousy, the evil anger, the hatred, the bias, everything that's bad within your emotional range, that came when Eth HaAdam chose with Eve to eat the fruit of the knowledge of the good and evil. What they did was they partook of the spiritual of the devil. Because Satan is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. You understand? Because he was good as an archangel before he fell. Before he tried to usurp God and fell. So he had the knowledge of good. Then he had the knowledge of evil. It wasn't an actual tree with actual fruit. It's just a symbolicism of, like this. Be fruitful and multiply. Did Adam all of a sudden become a fruit tree with apples coming out of it? Is that what it means? No, it means your actual fruitfulness to be able to reproduce. Satan had the reproductive power, not as humans have with our sperm and eggs. He had the reproductive power in coercing people to be evil, or the other angels. That's why he had the coercion power to bring down 1/3 of the heavenly host. Dude, I'm getting annihilated by mosquitoes, okay? Oh, God. But I'm willing to go through it to tell you this stuff. So he was fruitful in deception. So that he had the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. So he himself was the tree that imprinted himself. It wasn't. It was like this. Eve, who was the lesser vessel, much more naive, and gets tricked in anything. You pretty much trick a woman in anything. I'm not trying to be evil, but I'm saying you can, you know what I'm saying? What's up, girl? You can do all that. You can act on girls. That's why we chase after girls, because we can get them. You know what I'm saying? We're the hunters. They're the game. Okay. Not trying to offend anybody, but just, how it is, man. You just know, okay? Don't get offended. Don't be like, oh my God, it's so misogynistic. No, it's not, bro. It's the way things have been since the beginning of humankind, okay? Just, come on, get over yourself. So, she was the lesser vessel. She wasn't given a whole imprintation from God. Sorry, I'm not using the word right. She was just a piece of the original blueprint. A piece of it, not the entire original blueprint. So she's the lesser vessel. And the lesser vessel got tricked easier than what Adam. That's why Satan went to Eve first. And then she convinced Adam, because Adam was innocent. Like, oh, okay, I'm going to trust you. Oh, that's bad though, but I don't understand. They didn't actually grab a thing off the tree and eat it and be like, oh my God, zap, I'm dead. That's not what happened. It says the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. How long does it take you to read a book to get all the facts out of one certain book? Now imagine if you had a library. Imagine how long they were sitting there learning. They didn't eat an actual fruit. They were learning from Satan. Do you understand? That's why it says, he said, if you partake of this knowledge of the tree of good and evil, God knows that you will be like him. That's what he said. So, has God really said that you can't do that? So, he teaches them all the stuff. He gives them the fruitfulness of himself, which is the deception and all the lies that tricked the 1/3 of the angels. He told them the same stuff. And they believed it. And they were imprinted with his evil emotions. So like this, if anyone was race baiting, right? And they were like, oh my God, that white misogynistic white guy over there, he's so terrible, dude, he's so racist. You don't have any information that dude is actually racist, but you be stirred up. You could stir up a whole crowd of people like, oh my God, he's racist, bro. Oh my God, did you see what he's doing? And you, a part of the crowd, have never seen that dude before. You don't know any of the evidence, but yet you're like, oh my God, he's a racist. Let's go kill his ass. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Sorry, Father, in Jesus' name, amen. Yeshua. No, but you want to go kill him, right? You want to go crazy on him or loot his store. And then you find out 2 weeks later that dude never was racist at all. He adopted 2 black kids and he was trying to help inner city children. That's the deception. That's the trickery. So that's what it was. They imprinted themselves with the bad emotions permanently. That's how bad it was. That's how bad Satan can trick you, to even make you lose your mind and think craziness, dude, and be satanic and follow the false gods and idols and devil worship and all this, and sacrificing animals, sacrificing children, killing people, selling cartel members, just cutting people's heads off. ISIS convincing them, the devil convincing ISIS to go around just machine gunning buses full of children, blowing up parks, school children parks, blowing themselves up in stores, airplanes going down. Do you think that happened because there was one day they were just like, yeah, I just feel like killing myself today and blowing little children up? That's not what it was. Satan convinced them over time of evil manipulations and lies. That's how it actually works. There's a beautiful song by Casting Crowns. It's called The Slow Fade. When you slowly walk into the damnation. It's a slow fade when you give yourself away. It's not just rapidly. One day you got out of church and all of a sudden you're on your way home from church and then all of a sudden pops in your head, I just feel like doing a massacre right now. Let's go down to the bank, just kill everybody there and take all the money. That doesn't happen, dude. Okay, that person's either been thinking about it for a long time, planning this for a long time. This doesn't work like that, okay? Nobody just randomly just busts up and start doing craziness, okay? Unless they were already predetermined, like a normal person who's like a normal Christian who doesn't have any kind of crazy thoughts. But if they've always been genetically messed up from their parents or something, or, stuff like that, something like that might be able to happen. Because they've always been messed up. They were never good from the beginning. They were never helped by Jesus to be normal in any part of their life. They might have been putting on a show, but that they were normal, but they were messed up in some secret way, and it just popped out all of a sudden. So what happened was, when the great fall of humankind happened with Adam, We had by God all the good emotions, and by the devil all the bad emotions. And that's how we have carried on within our bodies now. So we have all the good emotions and bad emotions, because we have the good emotions from God and we have the bad emotions from Satan. I know I'm repeating myself, but that's very vital that you understand that. That's the very first plate of existence. That's the basic blueprint of a human meat suit body. You have both of those sets of emotions, good and bad now. Okay? Every human has them. The second plate is your individual. Remember when I said there was I think it was in the other video, the board that has the little dials that's your individual character, your own personal soul, the traits of your personality of your soul. So your anger might be at 67%. Your joking around might be at 22%. You might be more stern. These are individualized on a mass scale. There's many complexities to you. The way that there is as many synapses in your brain. Maybe a tenth of the synapses in your brain. That's how many calculations there are that create you. Okay? And you put that plate on top of the basic human emotions of all the different ones from God and Satan. You put that second plate right on top of it. So the basic human body and all the emotions is the very first plate. That's the archetype of a human. The second plate that God puts your soul inside that meat suit is your personalized character, which meshes with the emotions of your meat suit, and that derives who you are. When you become a Christian, the third plate goes onto it, which is all the entire... The Bible is actually called the basic instructions before leaving earth, which means all of the morals, the principles, the characteristics of conforming unto the image of Christ. That means when you conform unto the image of Christ and you become moral, you put the third plate on top of your individual settings as your own personal character, whether you have your own, your own specific DNA that they'll catch you at a crime scene with, or your fingerprint. So you're not the same as anyone else on the planet. So God puts the basic human emotions, he puts your individualized character. Then when you become a Christian, the third and last plate comes on, which is the morals. All the morals from the Holy Bible. All the decent ethics, morals, principles, and everything. And as that happens, as that continues to grind on top of the second plate of your individual character, which is grinding down on the first plate of your basic human emotions that have Satan and God commingled in your emotions of good emotions and bad emotions, the third plate crushes it down and melts through your personality the attributes of Christ. It's called conforming unto the image of Christ. That means Christ lives through you, meshes through your personality, melts through your personality, and then those two melt into your basic human emotions to kill out of you all of the bad emotions that were imprinted on you through Eth HaAdam by Satan. Conforming unto the image of Christ is to crush all of the evilness out of you, to crush all the bad emotions out of you. That's what it is, so that when you're done with the walk here on the planet Earth, you can be an active participant as a small child. It says in the Holy Bible, this is evidence of what I'm saying, unless you become as an innocent little child, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. So you have to allow the third plate of Christianity, really understanding all of it, and not guessing and not presuming. You have to know it all, so that it meshes through on your individual character, which meshes through on your meat suit's emotional settings, to evacuate all of the bad emotions, that you would be the perfect version of yourself, the best version of yourself, without the imprintation of the knowledge of good and evil from Lucifer. Okay? Pretty simple to understand. And then once you got that, and you're walking in that, that's what I was telling my little brother. That's how it is. So when you're in that way, that's how you can express a deeper understanding. There is no limit There is no limit to the changes that could be made within your relationships based on you doing what I just said about the 3 plates of how God made how we go from the worst to the best version of ourselves by those 3 plates meshing together and the badness being evacuated because Christ's principles push it out. And you can grow your morals. So my brother was looking, I'm not trying to out him, but my little brother was looking at a hot girl, right? He was like, wow, she's so fine. And I said, I don't ever double take on a pretty girl. Like, that, look twice. He's like, man, I'm just not going to deny it. I'd be like, because I've trained myself to only desire my own wife. I don't sexually desire or double take on beautiful women, even supermodels, even really hot girls that walk past me. Because I've trained myself as conforming unto the image of Christ to work that out of me, and you can do that. And that is how you can do within your own individual relationships. So when I was talking to my child, and I was talking to him in a way soul to soul on that deepest level, and that deepest connection, my brother heard prizes and adventures as a monetary thing instead of real love. And Dad, where are you? My son, when he said, Dad, where are you? He was just saying, Dad, I love you and I miss you. When am I going to see you again, Dad, in a couple of days? And when I said prizes, it was because I was excited about him graduating the next grade, and then I'm going to come home and give him prizes. And I told my brother, he's not going to remember the prizes in a week. He's not going to remember that he wants a remote control car in a week, because he's not hearing that. He's not hearing prizes. What he's hearing from me in our own individualized talking conversation that you don't understand, because it's just between us, our soul to soul, is that he's seeing that Dad is happy, and Dad is gratifying him with a loving, emotional thing on a soul level. That I'm so happy that I would buy you prizes, but the real thing is that my son understands that I'm extraordinarily happy for him, excited and proud of him that he graduated to the next grade. He gets the gratification of knowing that his dad is proud of him. You don't get bad boys don't get prizes. You understand? We have our own little conversation and colloquialisms and talking and way that outsiders can't understand. And you have that way with certain people in your life. That's how it is. Oh, man, I want to get on it. I'm going to make a part 3. It's going to be a real quick one, but I have to say the rest of it, okay? So stay tuned. It's important about children and relationships. It's the final part.